So on behalf of the Board of Governors, it's my pleasure to welcome you. And thank you for taking the time to be here to honor our good friend. I also want to thank the panelists for the work you're about to do and the preparation you did to get ourselves here. But it's truly my honor to congratulate Amy Agbayani on behalf of the East-West Center Board of Governors as this year's recipient. Board of Governors met this week, and in our oversight role, we learned more about the center's progress against some of its strategic goals, many of which are very near to Amy's heart, her passion, and her life's work. And these goals include things like developing and inspiring the next generation of future leaders, convening impactful conversations in the region, fostering environmental solutions, empowering women, promoting just and civic-minded societies, and really imagining and building a world that is safer, more peaceful, healthier, more sustainable, more equitable, and more inclusive. Amy, we recognize you as a board for this award because your life's work embodies the vision and aspirations of the East-West Center. On a personal note, when Punahou School was developing the Pu'eo program, a program that raises the expectations and the preparation for underserved public school students to go to four-year colleges, many of whom were the first in their family to attend college. Amy, you were an important guide for us. You were a sage mentor for us and an enthusiastic advocate for the Pu'eo program. So Carl Ackerman and I are grateful to you. Nearly 200 former Pu'eo scholars are now college graduates, and their families are indebted to you. Mahalo. So really, we're here to, on behalf of the thousands of lives that you have truly impacted through your work, we say mahalo, 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 and congratulations. And now I'd like to introduce another woman of impact in nearly the end of her second year as president of the East-West Center, Suzanne Vares-Lum.
Mahalo nui, Dr. Jim Scott, for your leadership. Aloha mai kako, everyone. I'm so honored to be here to honor an amazing woman, Dr. Amy Agbayani. And if you look at all the faces, the beautiful faces who are here, and Governor and your former First Lady, as well as First Lady here, and so many amazing faces of prominent people who are change makers, to honor an amazing change maker, Dr. Amy Agbayani. And I am so thrilled that we thought it would be best to honor you with a panel to hear from other women of impact. And I'm also grateful to our Board of Governors, our Foundation Board, our Friends of the East-West Center, our alumni, and our donors, and all of you who came out here to support Amy, Dr. Amy, because really the essence of the East-West Center, as Dr. Jim Scott said, are creating those change makers who make a difference. So, just very quickly, this pillar of good governance that's at the East-West Center, one of the lines of effort are supporting women, women's empowerment, women being impactful, giving women opportunity. And we all know that the UN Security Council Resolution 1325, the research that's in there is very clear that those countries, you don't have to be a scientist or a researcher to figure out that those countries that are most effective allow women equal opportunity and a voice, equal opportunity, access to education, healthcare, and we have a bunch of amazing leaders on this panel who will share a little bit of their insights. It's those countries where those basic human rights and opportunities that are denied are at the bottom of that economic progress and peaceful security for their nations. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it back over to our amazing alumni, Annalisa, and we're so proud of our alumni, to introduce our panel. Mahalo nui for being here.
So again, as we know, Amy doesn't like it all to be about her, even though this celebration is really for you, Amy. But we definitely wanted to highlight some of the amazing women of impact across the world and have influence across the world. So what I'm going to do is I would like to welcome the ladies up here, and I'll just introduce them by name, but I wanted to give them a chance to have a couple minutes each to just share highlights from their own story. And then we'll go into just a couple of questions just so that you guys can hear some of their background, some of their thoughts as we celebrate women leadership and how we're building change makers here at the East-West Center. So let's see, I don't know if you guys have assigned seating, but the closest one to me is Ambassador Kelley Currie. Let's give her a round of applause. Most recently, head of the Global's Women's Issues Program at the State Department. And then we have Dr. Zakia Adeli, who is from Afghanistan. So she is amazing. We had a chance to talk briefly before this session and just some amazing stories. And I encourage you all during the reception to engage these women because they are amazing in their own right as well. And then of course, Miah Bonilla, who is originally from the Philippines, but she is based here now, and she is a recipient of an Amy Agbayani scholarship. So congratulations to her. All right, so make sure your mics are on, and just start with Ambassador Currie here. Just give a couple minutes of your background, what you want to highlight, what you want our folks to know today.
Well, thank you so much. Mahalo nui for including me in this. I am so honored to be a part of this beautiful ceremony to celebrate someone who has done so much, not just for women, but for people in Hawaii, and who has been such an incredible leader for so many years. It's really an honor to be here. I'm just thrilled because I'm on the board of governors of the East-West Center, and to be able to participate in this evening and to see our wonderful president, President Susie, as we all call her now, leading this event. My colleague, Dr. Jim Scott. It's just really wonderful to be here. My name is Kelley Currie. My last job at the State Department was as the Ambassador at Large for Global Women's Issues, but I ended up in that job in a very strange way. I'm a human rights lawyer by training, but I hadn't done much, and I wasn't like someone who had spent my career working in the women's issues sector, and there is a whole women's issues sector, for those of you who don't know, in foreign policy and in international relations, and I wasn't in it. I worked primarily in Southeast Asia on human rights issues, working in Burma and in Indonesia and in other countries on democracy and human rights issues. And so when I was asked to take that position, it was a bit of a stretch for me, but I was reminded by friends and colleagues that I actually had spent a lot of time working on these issues, just not calling them women's issues, because I was working on things like women's political participation and other ways of getting women more involved in democracy and politics and in governance. And so that's kind of how I ended up here, I guess. I guess that's why Susie asked me to do this. But it is, again, just a huge honor to be on the stage with these remarkable women and to be celebrating Dr. Amy. Thank you.
Aloha, everyone. Thank you for having me. It is a great honor to be here. My name is Zakia Adeli, and currently I'm working as research fellow at East-West Center. Before that, I was Deputy Minister of Ministry of Justice for Afghanistan, and I was professor at Kabul University. Actually, my parents had to flee Afghanistan years ago because of invasion of Russia to Afghanistan. That is why I grew up as an immigrant in Iran. And I have been involved with the pain of people always. And it is important for me that be part of a solution to reduce their pain. As a young Afghan immigrant in Iran, I established the first library for immigrants by supporting UNHCR. And I also could take 300 scholarships for Afghan students, immigrants. After I completed PhD, I came back to Afghanistan, and I started my career as a dean faculty and professor at university. And then in 2018, I started my job as Deputy Minister of Justice in Ministry of Justice. My commitment to democratic values and human rights issue pushed me to move forward and do something for my people. That is why, after collapse of government in Afghanistan, I was living in hiding for months under the Taliban rule. And now I'm working with my Afghan colleagues on the project that provide online education for Afghan students who are not attending to the school. Thank you so much.
Aloha, can you hear me? Aloha, mabuhay, I'm Miah. I was born in the Philippines. I moved to Hawaii when I was 10 years old. But first of all, I'm just shocked that I was chosen to be a part of this panel. It's just overwhelming. I'm stoked to be part of it. But so thank you for inviting me to be here. When I moved to Hawaii, I was an immigrant. I had to learn English. Ilocano was my first language. I had to learn Tagalog too, so technically English is my third language. I don't know if you can hear my accent, but I pursued my BA and master's here. I got an international relations degree, and after that, after 1 year of finishing my master's, I pivoted, and now I'm pursuing a law degree. I'm a second-year law student here at the law school, yay. And I see Justice McKenna, so I hope you remember me. And yeah, I'm just proud to be part of this, and I just want to honor Amy for all the work that she's done, and all the women who's here. I mean, you all are, we wouldn't be here without you, so thank you.
Thank you, Miah. And I think you really do represent, the thousands of the kids that went through Operation Manong also, just all these programs that, she started here on the campus of UH also. So thank you for everyone for being here. So we did give them a couple of questions, so I wanted to just pose the ones that you guys chose. So one of them was, okay, obviously you guys are successful and you've overcome a lot of adversity. How do you overcome something that you've failed at? How do you take a failure and then turn it into a learning opportunity? And I will start with you, Ambassador Currie.
Well, I actually do feel that I learn more from my failures than I do from successes. And when you work in the State Department, and when you work on policy issues and diplomacy, you fail a lot. I basically failed every day. Every day I would go into work and fail at something, and it could be very demoralizing. And I think that the key, and especially when you work on human rights issues, where you constantly, even your successes feel like failures some days when you're working on human rights, because you're dealing with communities that are traumatized, you're dealing with communities that you can never really fully restore to them things that have been taken from them. You can only hope to try to provide little bits of justice and little bits of accountability and little bits of policy change to move things forward. So I feel that building resilience in the face of failure is one of the most important things for anyone in their career, but especially if you want to have a career in foreign policy and especially in human rights. I think it's something that you have to be able to do. One of the biggest failures that I've had recently that has been very challenging to overcome, Zakia and I were talking about it before we came up here, was the evacuation of our friends and allies from Afghanistan after the fall of Kabul. And when I started getting calls from women ministers and members of parliament and judges who had no plan to get out of Afghanistan, and they were basically trapped. Some of them had no male guardian who could take them to the airport or help them get through this insane scene there. And we were able to bring a small number of women out through a really horrifying process, but we failed a lot during that 2-week period and I continue to feel the heavy burden of the failures that we continue to have that have a long lingering effect. And so that's one, though, that has made me very committed to try to work to support women like Zakia and others who are trying to fight for women's rights still in Afghanistan, despite how difficult that is, and in other places around the world.
I remember that was a huge failure. It was a very public failure, and we covered it a lot in the news. And our Zakia, you were in the middle of that all, but I don't want to ask that unless that was part of your learning experience. What was your lesson from failures?
I believe the challenges and failure are the part of our life and are the part of progress in the process in the life. It depends to our vision. It is not supposed to everything be fine. Sometimes we fail to learn what are the successful ways. In my view, 3 factors can help us to reduce negative consequences of the failure. One of them is being hopeful for the future. The second one, motivation to progress. And third one, being ready to manage any situation. Let me give you an example. When the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan collapsed, it was a biggest failure for every Afghan people. It was the biggest failure for me that I have seen in my life. I remember the August 15, 2021, everybody just was running and everybody just was trying to reach himself to the airport to flee Afghanistan, but they didn't know where and how. Even most of them didn't have passports, but they were trying to escape. Even after 2 years, at the moment that I'm talking with you, many of the Afghan expertise and many of human rights activities and women's rights activities are in shock and are in depression. Even some of them, they don't know what can they do for themselves. Even they cannot manage personal life because they face with many challenges in new environment, in new country, beside of trauma and other challenges that they passed. But for me, 3 factors that I mentioned earlier push me to stand by my feet because I'm committed to raise the voice of my people anywhere. That is why, for now, I'm writing article because I want to, everybody knows about Afghanistan. I'm active in the media, and also I, with my coworkers, are working for Afghan students on online education project. That is my way. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And Miah, I know you had wanted to talk a little bit about, obviously you're the younger generation, this future generation that we are putting all our faith and hope on.
No.
But you know, as someone who is rising up and you know, trying to make her way, navigating the world right now, what do you want to see? What are some of the figures in your life that have really inspired you and molded who you are today?
Well, I mean, there's just so many. I think it would take me forever just to list all the people, all the women that has impacted my life. But let's see, my aunt, my grandmother's sister, great aunt, she recently passed away, but she made a great impression on my life because she would take me to the church, like ask me to wake up at 5 in the morning, and I would be complaining. But the best part about going to the church was nung kami gumatang ta tiandaan, which in Ilocano means go to the wet market, and she would let me buy breakfast, choose breakfast, and for me, she just made a great impression because although she was strict, she was commanding, she was, oh my God, I don't want to cry, but she was very powerful. She empowered me. She took care of me like she watered her plants, and I am grateful that she showered me with love. Opposite from her sister is my grandmother. She's different because she kept to herself. She was busy all the time. And that made sense because she was working part-time jobs, making ends meet. And she was sending money to us in the Philippines. If it wasn't for her hard work, I wouldn't be here today. In fact, she was working at the East-West Center as a housekeeping staff. And I remember in 5th grade, I know, I just realized it recently.
Like full circle.
It is. That's the story that is so fulfilling to me, is the fact that she brought me at the East-West Center when I was in 5th grade, and she told me, "May daktulungan," she said, help me at work. But we didn't get to work, of course. We just watched her work. I was so stoked, you know, waking up so early in the morning to go to work with her. But it's just fulfilling to be in like that full circle of being at the East-West Center. You know, it's my way of paying for her sacrifices, for all that she has done for our family. So I'm glad to be part of the East-West Center Ohana, and you know, it's me representing not just my grandmother, but also like to all the immigrant, you know, women. Besides my grandmothers, of course, my mom. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. She is one of the reasons why I went to law school in the first place, and now I'm interested in immigration and, you know, serving our community, public service. So that's what I want to do after law school.
That's a wonderful story, Miah. Thank you for sharing. Go ahead and cry. This is a talk show format. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, again, that's reflective of the so many people, the immigrant story, and just civil rights and giving everyone the chance to reach the American dream. Right? So that's great. Okay, so, oh gosh, we're all tearing up over here. All right, let's move on to this question for you, Ambassador Currie. Okay, we'll bring it back to the East-West Center. So How do you think, I mean, we've already started hearing about it, positive impact that the center is making in creating women change makers. I mean, we've already heard, and I'm sure there's so many stories out there and that all of us can share. What is, in your opinion, is the biggest?
Well, I think if you look back over the history of the East-West Center, it was one of those institutions that did bring women scholars into the, to the center, gave scholarships to women, provided them opportunities for research at a fairly early point, much, I think, sooner than some of the other scholarship programs that the United States had, and definitely was path-breaking. Also in terms of not just, that it was women of color, it was women from all over the world, and giving them opportunities that they may not have had at home, and even here in the United States, giving women opportunities. And to have now the center led by Susie, the first woman president, a Native Hawaiian president who brings this incredible experience coming out of being a major general in the United States military, everything that she has done in her life, and she was talking about it a little bit with the Women, Peace, and Security agenda. She's lived that agenda. She gets to bring that experience into this, into the East-West Center, and I think that it is, she's the team that she's building includes also incredible strong women who are making a huge difference, and then it's right here with Miah. I mean, just and with Zakia and what we as a center and our Ohana does for young women like Miah and empowering her, and that full circle with, I mean, I can't even believe that with your grandmother. I'm looking at Susie when you're saying that, and I'm just like, can you believe this? It's crazy. I mean, it's incredible. And for Zakia to be able to find a home here after having to flee Afghanistan and be able to find a place here that supports her. It's incredible. And so to be part of that, to be on the board of governors, and be able to be part of that is just, it's such a great gift. And I think that, there are a lot of things that the United States government does that make me want to pull my hair out. This is not one of them.
Dr. Adeli, you wanted to tell us about a bold decision or a risk that you made.
Actually, I made some important decision in my life that when I think about that, I'm satisfied with, and I'm proud of them. One of them was when I came back to Afghanistan after I completed my study, and because I wanted to end the being and living as an immigrant in Iran, because I faced many discrimination. And when I came back to Afghanistan, I started my job as a professor, and I felt freedom. I felt I'm an effective person in my country. The second important decision was when I bring fundamental changing in the Ministry of Justice, in department that I led. For example, establish the Independent High Commission for Legal Aid, and revision of political parties law, revision of the civil society organization law, and some other works. But it was not easy, because at the first the minister and other official was not agree with me. But I proved myself, and finally I convinced them, and I made the big and fundamental change in the Ministry of Justice. And the last one was staying and living in hiding in Kabul, despite of a lot of threats for my life under the Taliban rule. It was terrible when I remember. It is hard for me and remember bad events and in the Kabul, but I'm proud of that because living in hiding under the Taliban rule gave me an opportunity to understand better how people are living in the dire and severe situation. That is why I'm trying to do something for them, especially for women. No job, no education, and no any other facility, especially for women and girls. And yes, this is an important decision that I made. Thank you for your question.
Thank you for your bravery. Indeed. So Miah, you wanted to tell us about your advice that you wanted to give us and the next generation of leaders.
Right, so for the next generation of leaders, I mean, it's easy to make change. I think anyone can be a leader, but for myself, I don't even see myself as a leader. I just see myself as someone who wants to make change. And so for our future leaders, if you have a cause, if you are passionate about something, pursue that passion, make changes because you want to make that change. I mean, you make a change because you care about it. And so I implore you to take spaces, to assert your voice, to take positions, like be in this panel, even though you're scared to be a part of it. So that's just my message.
Or did Amy tell you to do it and you couldn't say no? Because when Amy calls, you have to do it.
Of course, for Amy, I'll do anything.
And that's a story that we all share, I think. But no, I guess, was there a moment for you where you decided, because, we complain, we have children, right? We all, us over here. And I think the difficult part about the generations coming up, I think, is how do you get them civically engaged or, I guess just involved in wanting to make change. It's easy to be complacent and just go about your day. But what for you kind of made you want to change the world?
I mean, it's scary. The world is scary, but making a change is scary. But for me, I wanted to assert myself because I wanted to make a change. So for example, I'm part of the food security task force at the East-West Center. It wasn't my intention to, create an organization, but organically that came to be. So now we have a food security task force whose goal is to provide solutions or address the needs of our community because there is food security that's being experienced and food insecurity that's experienced in our community. And so I think even though you're scared, you need to step up because who else is going to take that, that role? Who else is going to make that change other than yourself? So, I mean, that's just my simple message, to assert yourself because we need changes, especially now.
Thank you, Miah. I think for our other two panelists, when we reflect on when we were Miah's age and kind of giving advice to future generations or our younger selves or our children that we have, young women, that we're trying to mold. I mean, it's one thing because I would say that your actions speak really loudly and they are observing the leadership that you're portraying. But is there something else that you, I guess, feel helped you or that you can advise the future generation of leaders also? Oh, Ambassador.
So I'm not going to point to her because she'll be mortified, but I have my 14-year-old daughter here.
She's amazing. I got some side eye there.
I brought her with me for two reasons. One, because she didn't have school yesterday and today, and so I figured I might as well drag her to Hawaii. I didn't think she'd complain too much. But I've been making her, I won't make her, I kind of forced her, I guess, to come last night and to come today to this event to see, because I did want her. I think that for when you work in an office, it's like, oh, you work at the State Department, and it can be very abstract. And so I do try to get her to come and like see what it is that what I actually do all day. It's not just like reading emails, but it's like working with incredible women like this. And I just want to, I think you're right. I mean, a lot of it just comes down to modeling the kind of person you want your kids to respect and look up to, and especially for my daughter, as the mother of a girl child, you want them to have confidence, that they can go out in the world like Miah and do anything, that they can be anything. I mean, my daughter, she has no limits, and the kinds of things that she can envision for herself are very different from what even, my generation could see themselves doing. Because, I mean, I remember when I was pregnant with her and I was working at the State Department, and we had a woman Secretary of State and continued, and I remember thinking with my son, who's 2 years older than her, and I remember taking him to the State Department, like his whole life, there's only ever been women secretaries of state. And so things like that. I'm so excited for that generation, because they see themselves in everything and anything, and they can be anything. And so I want them to go out there and grab that and pursue it and do it. It's just the world is there for them. It's great.
Your daughters, Zakia, because she also was able to bring her daughters with her. How are they doing? Adjusting well to Hawaii, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think one thing that is important for young people, today technology, social media, games made young generations so be busy with that things and don't care and don't focus more on their future. We need to, young generation realize and focus more on the future, because this country needs them to build a better future for the country by the children and by the young people. That is my message. The young generation should be focused more on their future and on the future of the country.
Wonderful, and I agree with you. It's like the social media has changed the landscape so much. I don't know. Did you guys have any special comments you have about Amy, or you want to reflect on your work with her, or what you admire most about her? Yes, Miah.
I met Dr. Amy last year during her birthday, and it was to commemorate her. So, I mean, just seeing her, and for the first time, it was very empowering. And then full circle, and we're still celebrating her. Like, we continue to celebrate her. So, I mean, I aspire to be like her. So she's, a role model to a lot of Filipinos and any immigrants, young women, yeah, in Hawaii and I guess the United States. But yeah.
Did you guys have a chance to talk?
And last year, when we started this Women of Impact award, and we gave it to Senator Mazie Hirono, and it actually was Susie's idea to do this, and I thought it was a wonderful idea. I was really thrilled that we were able to find a way to, especially one of the goals that we really want to do with the East-West Center is emphasize the importance that it plays here in the community, that it is a global institution and it brings in people from all over the world, and it's something that, I come in from Washington for board meetings, and it's got a policy role in our foreign policy, but it is rooted here in Hawaii. And so it was very important when we were thinking about the Women of Impact award, that it should honor someone who both is working for Hawaii, but also working in the world, and that impact has, that is felt most importantly here in Hawaii. And so when we were looking for the recipient for this year, and Dr. Amy's name came up, and I was like, and I read through her whole bio and everything that she had done here in Hawaii, and her connection, and how she, just everything about her was like screamed, yes, this is the right person for this award. So it was really, that was my introduction to her, actually. And I think that it's great, because I hope that through this award and by honoring people like Dr. Amy, we will help raise their profile outside of Hawaii, make sure that people around the world, and through, whether it's either through the East-West Center directly or through the outreach that we're doing, that the kind of leadership that she shows is becoming, this is how you make an impact. You don't have to go be the Secretary of State. You do find needs in your community, get creative about how you meet them. This is the key. This is how we change the world, how we do what Miah was saying she wants to do.
I just want to say congratulations to Dr. Amy, and as a woman, I really appreciate it for everything that you did for the woman. It is high valuable for all of us as a woman. Thank you so much.
What are the most pressing issues of inequity that women are facing within your bubble, whether that is in Afghanistan or at the State Department or attending law school, and what can legal like us do to help address those inequities?
So one of the biggest challenges that I work on day in and day out is preventing sexual exploitation and abuse. And this is, I think, globally one of the biggest challenges that women face wherever they are. And this is not a developing world problem. This is not it is a problem that affects women in all countries, in every place in the world. And it is one of the biggest challenges, I think, for us as a society at all levels to address. But it is something that increasingly people are aware of. It's been amazing to me to now, when I go into airports everywhere around the world, there are signs up in the airports in whatever the local language is, and then 3 other languages usually, saying, are you a victim of trafficking? If so, please, here are things you can do to help alert the authorities or to escape from your captors. And to see that kind of thing spreading around the world, and this global effort to address this huge challenge that I think is part of the ecosystem that really creates huge challenges for women everywhere in all societies.
Yeah. Zakia? About challenges that women are facing in Afghanistan. Earlier, the embassy.
Just one, though.
About the, sorry? Okay. Mentioned about the globally and political challenges, but about Afghanistan, there are a lot of challenges for Afghan women under the Taliban rule. They are not allowed to go to school. They are not allowed to go work. And despite of many challenges, they fight for their right. At the first, they came to a street and held demonstration against the Taliban, and after that, with the Taliban arrest them and torture them, they decided to change their way. For now, some of women come together in the closed environment and write their demands on the paper and release on the social media. And they want help from the people around the world. But they need help and support by other people in the country, especially people who are living in the United States and the powerful country. And we can we can support them. Yeah, I think everybody can support them by own way. At least we can support them by release the picture and advocate for them. We can help them by this way. Thank you.
Thank you. Last of, not least for you.
I have a short response. So at the Hawaii Supreme Court, there has yet to be a woman who's a Chief Justice woman, and so if we have that woman as a Chief Justice, I think that would speak volume. If that woman could do it, I can do it too.
Again, let's give a round of applause to our amazing panel, Ambassador Currie, Zakia, Adeli, and Miah Bonilla.
Thank you so much to our panelists. Now, I want to share that we all decided that we would do this amazing panel with a diversity of women from different backgrounds in honor of Amy, in the spirit of advocating for issues that are tough, wicked issues, because those are the kinds of things that Amy doesn't shy away. And I got to share with you, I was in Manila, and guess who was popular? Amy. And they had all, Kaimanong, Amy, and they had all special terms of endearment for you, Amy, when I was there in Manila. Dancing with their lei, aloha oi, paying tribute from the 1960s, your classmates, I showed you those pictures. They just clearly, to this day, even younger people like Miah, they know you in the Philippines and around Southeast Asia when we were traveling. So your legacy continues on, your work. So, it is my honor to present a video, but before we do that, I want to share a little bit about Amy. Most of you may know because many of you are friends with her, dear friends and sisters and family. I got to point out sisters back there, all three of them. Yeah. She was born in the Philippines, but came to Hawaii in 1964 on East-West Center Fellowship, as many of you know, and earned her doctoral degree at a time when, I gotta say, when I was growing up, didn't see a lot of wahine with a doctoral degree from 1964 at the University of Hawai at Mānoa. And we have the provost here, and we have, the president of the University of Hawaii sitting right up here. We're so proud of our alumni. And she successfully created programs where there wasn't, on multiculturalism, civil rights, improving the status of Filipinos, and underrepresented, so everyone, not just Filipino, everyone who are underrepresented. And then, when she becomes Dr. Agbayani and very successful, she secured millions of dollars funding student scholarships and community outreach to empower and equip immigrants and disadvantaged children. She's the founding chair of the Hawaii Civil Rights Commission, and was selected by President Biden to be on the White House Advisory Commission on Asian American, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders. And we're so proud to have you representing all of the nation on this panel. And we were trying to get, of course, some of your commission, fellow commissionees to come here because I understand Mr. Hawaii 5-0 is also on your commission. But before I go on, there's so many people who have so much to say, and I know Senator Hirono, Kehau is here. Senator Hirono wanted to be here, but she couldn't, so she's going to join us virtually today. So without further ado, we're going to, if we can roll it, Devin, who put this together, thank you so much, the video to share an aloha on Dr. Amy Agbayani.
She's really made Hawaii a better place. She's an activist, she's an educator, she's a leader, she's a mentor to so many different people.
I met Amy so long ago that I can't even tell you when, but we have been friends for over 40 years.
When I hear the name Amy, I get inspired.
I think she becomes more alive when she's trying to give voice to the voiceless.
A leader.
Generous friend.
She's the type of leader who leads by example.
Gives her heart and her soul in the service of others.
Hawaii is better because of Amy Agbayani.
I'm proud to say that Amy has been involved at the center because it really started back in 1964. And if you think about it, East-West Center was established in 1960. So just a few years later, in the doors came Amy Agbayani before she became a doctor. Until 1969, she was a graduate degree fellow with a lot of opportunities coming from the Philippines to Hawaii and meeting the world in UH Mānoa. And from there, she went on to do amazing things.
She decided pretty early on that she was going to be a leader.
I think she realized a long time ago that it's not about her, but it's about the people.
I think people underestimate her because she's not very tall, right? And she admittedly says that. But I think people don't think that there's this amazing, energetic, driven woman who always seems to overcome and always exceeds expectations. And I think she's proven that time and time and again.
She's just so energetic and giving. And I think that's why she's so inspirational to so many of us.
She continues to not stop. She continues to move forward despite the obstacles.
She's so driven. She doesn't take no for an answer. I've tried. She asks a lot of other people. She expects a lot of other people. But I think she's just so committed, and it is very difficult to say no to Manang Amy.
Amy inspires by example, and she's right there, helping students and inspiring them, and really, I think being such a cheerleader for all of the kinds of programs that support social justice and diversity. So she inspires by doing.
Bear full witness to her ability to make a powerful difference in the life of one immigrant.
She always put others above herself. She puts students, colleagues, other leaders. It's never about her, it's always about others, and it's always about our community and about the state of Hawaii.
The East-West Center is a better place because of Amy's contributions. If you look at all that she has achieved through her selfless service, she has continued to exemplify the whole foundation of the center. Since 1965 till today, she continues to serve others and the East-West Center.
Manang Amy, I just want to say congratulations. This award is so well deserved. I just want to thank you on behalf of my entire family.
Every honor that comes to you is well deserved, and every recognition is validated by your life.
When I think of you, I think of praise in the Philippines. It's ako ang simula, which means I am the start. And you've been a trailblazer for all of us.
Really appreciate all you've done for us and for the entire state of Hawaii. Aloha, mahalo, maraming salamat po.
Dr. Amy Agbayani, on behalf of the East-West Center Board of Governors, the East-West Center Foundation, all of the students and participants and the staff of the East-West Center, past, present, and future, as well as the 70,000 East-West Center alumni around the world, congratulations to you, and thank you so much for your aloha and all that you have contributed, not just to Hawaii, the Philippines, but the world.
May I present Dr. Amy Agbayani, and if you could come up to the stage, Dr. Agbayani, to receive an award, and if the First Lady, if you could accompany her as well, just to receive the award as well. At this time, if the First Lady is presenting an award from the state of Hawaii and the governor. from the House of Representatives, I apologize, from the House of Representatives, presented by the First Lady. So camera time, here we go. And then on behalf of the Board of Governors, we have Dr. Jim Scott, who will present the Woman of Impact 2023 Award to Dr. Amy Agbayani. Thank you, First Lady. Thank you, Dr. Scott. And at this time, the moment you've all been waiting for, Dr. Amy Agbayani to say a few words.
Aloha. Very few words. I'm humbled and proud to receive this award. As some of you know, I do like oxymoronics, but I don't think being humble and proud is an oxymoronic. I do have some, like jumbo shrimp, civil war, domestic violence, and there are lots of oxymoronics that are really powerful. The other night, 2 nights ago, I was downstairs. There was a scholarship dinner award for the East West Center scholars, and I met some of the scholars, including some of my own scholars. And there was a competition, and the competition was whoever won would get the floral centerpiece. And for some of you who know, I'm very good at that. But the competition was who could say thank you in the most number of languages. There was someone in our table that could say thank you in 10 languages, but I happily took home the floral centerpiece. Tonight, I will just use 3 languages to say thank you. That's English. Maraming salamat. As you know, I'm from the Philippines. And mahalo plenty. I want to say mahalo plenty to my family, Gus, who didn't recognize all these comments. Lena, my sister, and Adeli, and all of my friends, some of whom I consider sisters, but we have different mothers and different fathers. I want to say mahalo to the East West Center and many of the other organizations and individuals who continue to address gender and other inequities and give voice and visibility to girls and women. I thought, by the way, I was going to be asked to be on the panel. I'm so glad they did exclude me. But I was given the list of questions we were supposed to answer, and I was working until last night. I thought I was going to be on the panel, so I was so happy. But I did. One of the questions was, which women inspired me? And so and they said 2, but I think I'll identify 3. It's not called an oxymoronic, but AQ, people. A.Q. McElrath. It's like saying IBM, East West Center, and so forth. Just using her initials, A.Q. McElrath, is really powerful. For those of you who don't know her, she's about my height, but much, much older, and she passed away a number of years ago. She's the daughter of a Chinese immigrant. She worked, I think, 12 hours a day at the cannery, which is close to where she was born, in Iwilei. She went to the University of Hawaii, where she got into trouble for being a member of the Communist Party and other things. And she volunteered for the ILWU, which was the union here that really changed Hawaii. And AQ and ILWU and others changed Hawaii. It really did, from the big guys to more working class oriented programs and policies. She also became a regent and did lots of other stuff. But she really inspired me. She actually intimidated me. She did many, many issues. Until she died, actually, she was active with the Death with Dignity group. She was active in actually establishing healthcare for Hawaii. Anyhow, the second person, the second woman, is Patsy Mink. You have to raise your hands if you knew her personally. Patsy is a powerful Asian American woman. She is part of the world history and the history of the United States, Hawaii, and Maui. She was a state senator in 1962 and a member of the Territorial Senate in 1958, and history will remember her most for Title IX. Title IX is 37 words she co-authored that made equality for women and girls the law of the land. By the way, the words woman, sports, aren't even in there. But it really changed the relationship of girls and boys and women and men in educational institutions and elsewhere. Anyhow, the third person is someone I didn't work with, and I think she's taller than me, I'm not sure. Maria Ressa. And Maria Ressa was the honor, is, as you know, a Nobel Prize winner because she was in jail a lot. And she was a speaker here at the East-West Center. And that, I think, is a recognition, and I appreciate the East-West Center for bringing Maria Ressa and giving her that platform. I remember her talking, and she had just gotten another announcement that evening that her court case wasn't doing so well. But she actually is doing well, but she still has, I don't know, 30 more court cases. So I wanted to thank those women, and I also want to thank the East-West Center for awarding me a scholarship 59 years ago when I was 21 years old. You can do the math. So mahalo, maraming salamat to the East-West Center for providing me an education at the East-West Center dormitories and the UH Political Science Department, and also for giving me many lifelong friends from across the regions. A number of those with white hair here are my lifelong friends. So thank you, and mabuhay.